Shit, man. Stupid phone. All right, we're live. Let's see here. Sitting back having some In and Out right now. Little lunch. Mmm. Mmm. In and Out is the bomb. It was a beautiful day. The family and I are over here by the Queen Mary right now. So we're just hanging out. Let me clean this lens. Damn it. Yeah, it's kind of foggy, huh? I'm going to clean that lens in a minute so you guys can see better, but I am at, hold on, we're back. Hold on, man. I got to clean my lens. And then I'll show you guys the ocean. I got to clean the lens though, but I'm eating. So I'll do that after. What I'm going to do is get closer to the Queen Mary. Mm, In and Out. So I first heard it. I first heard from a Texan on social media. Like, what's better, In and Out or Whataburger? And I've had Whataburger when I was over the road trucking, and then when I was working security during Hurricane Harvey and that whole bull crap that went on over there was pretty devastating. When I was security at a Securitas Critical Infrastructure, they sent me over there and they paid me pretty well so that I could relieve some of those officers that had to, take care of their families during that time. And I had some Whataburger. It was all right, you know. It was all right, but I prefer In and Out. Mm-hmm. In and Out is way better. Family and I decided to come to the beach today, and you know, just be together. They're eating over there. I told them I'd go ahead and just do a quick live with you guys. But it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day to be alive. I got some animal style fries right here. Always got to go animal style. That's one thing you cannot get at Whataburger. Mm-mm. Man, for those of you who haven't had In and Out yet, you are missing out. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, In and Out way better than Whataburger every time. To those who disagree, sorry. But yeah, when I first heard that argument going around the internet, I was like, what the hell? I'm like, there are very few places that are better than In and Out there. And once I had Whataburger, I'm like, no, this this is not it, bro. Whataburger will never top this place. In and Out is bomb. Always has been, always will be. Best. Bombest of the bomb. You got the fire department, the Long Beach Fire Department's up here. I think there's something going on. But here's where I'm at. Family and I came here to enjoy the day. And I don't know, there's people pointing over there, so there's something going on. I don't know what. But yeah. Hmm. We got 50 plus in here. I mean 20 plus. You know, bro, sometimes I call you 50 plus because there's another truck driver that has a similar handle as yours. He calls himself 50 plus. He's a Melton flatbedder and he's a trainer. And I used to talk to him a lot. Um, Chuck Demagd says, howdy, I just saw your video on the railroad expansion. Based on that, do you think that trucking is a good industry for young people to get involved in right now? What about working for the railroad? I don't know much about the railroad, but I still do encourage people to go with trucking. I mean, and if you can't get into either a union LTL job, which there's only two left, and I never recommend T-Force, but that's just my opinion. Um, Only reason I don't recommend T-Force is I've heard a lot of horror stories. Um, but what was I saying? The in and out's got me blah. But yeah, I mean, if you're a youngster, go haul some oil. On the railroad, I just feel like you're gonna work a lot. You know, I don't really know much about it, but as far as a young person getting into trucking, I think is a good idea because you're young. Now, to be trucking your whole life over the road or LTL, that's rough, bro. It's rough on your body and it's rough on your mind. There's so much in sitting involved, no matter what kind of trucking you're doing, unless you're in food service. See, you got to make that your goal. If you want to be a truck driver, I would go into food service or hauling oil. And like these companies like Conoco Oil, Marathon is still union. I know that guys are happy at that union company, C Logics, which that place isn't too far from where I'm at right now. And you'll make good money. You'll be home every day. You know, that's the best. Whoever happens to go, the railroad route, let me know how it goes because yeah, I just never had an interest in that. Never. And just like I never had an interest in UPS. Like my dad retired from UPS, but with how strict I hear that they are, and with Amazon out here taking everything, that's why I'm telling you to get into hauling oil and going uh, with the food service because I mean automation can't take those jobs, at least not yet. It's pretty difficult to get out there in a truck and go and deliver to customers, food. Like that's not easy to do. For example, like an LTL company, like the first ones to go would be the road, right? Everybody knows that. I don't have to sit here and tell you that. But um, like hauling oil, it's an extremely lucrative industry, and I think it's going to take them a lot of time before they fully automate um, that part of the industry. That's just my opinion. Those are my thoughts. I could be wrong, but you guys got to make some kind of move out here, right? I think getting your CDL is still a good idea. There's a lot of things out here that you can do with your C that you can. There's a lot of things out here you can accomplish with a CDL, and having your resume all set and ready. You'll be able to get a job pretty much anywhere, man. As as long as it's blue collar. But like I've said in other videos, is once you get into trucking, is make sure that you're not getting into accidents or getting an excessive amount of tickets. Like, don't even get one, especially your first year. You need to have at least one clean year. If we were having this conversation like 10 to 15 years ago, you got to have a clean record for like 5 years. All these good jobs out here, like the one that I'm currently at in line haul, like you need to have you, you used to need to have what, like 5 or 6 years of trucking experience in order to work where I'm currently working at. So I was extremely fortunate, and I told you all, like, come over here, right? I told you all, like, they gave me a $10,000 sign-on bonus, and I had a union job. So I mean, bro, I made out like a bandit with this place. Fernie Flores says, I don't recommend trucking. Learn a trade, get a union job like lineman making 50 an hour. I also agree with that. Being a lineman or go and work for here in Southern California, we have the gas company, and you can go work for them. And then you've got, Southern California Edison, right? Be a lineman there. You've got the bricklayers union, you've got construction, you've got all that, right? Um, yeah, getting into a trade, HVAC, right? I don't know any union HVAC, but I'm sure that they're out there. Like trades are usually union, so I'm sure that's there. Like being a lineman is cool and all, but it takes a long time to get your seniority. So you better start young because if you've got a family, fucking forget it. Especially in construction, you're going to be waiting a long time on that board when you get laid off, up to 6 months. And it's not, like where I'm currently at. And I told you guys maybe you'll get laid off. Now, over there, you will get laid off. And all these other places that Fernie Flores is mentioning, you're going to get laid off. Um, the other part of the industry that you should look at is in not heavy hauling, um, heavy equipment operators. They make good money. And I know that a lot of good companies, like I think especially even like the railroads, look for people who have their heavy equipment operators licenses and all that stuff. So if you have that stuff right now, I mean, why not go give it a shot and let me know how it goes. Like welders and stuff like that, that's good to get into. Um, and those are all union. That's the best thing. But like I said, get into this young because you're gonna get laid off. Like you're gonna get laid off. Sucks, but that's how it is. Hmm. Check out the Queen Mary. Let me clean up my phone for you. Hold on. Shit's all right. There we go. That's better. So Chuck the Mag says I was thinking about construction. Yeah, masonry or something. HUOs make great money, but it's so hard to get into their union. Yeah, yeah, it is. That's what I've heard. So, I mean, you guys can do anything out there that you set your minds to. I don't know how old you are, Chuck, but I've seen you comment on my videos before, and I think you're an older guy. I'm not sure, but if I remember right, I think you had mentioned something about you were referencing a time in your life that seemed like it was a long time ago. I think you said like when you were 20 or something like that. So I don't know if you're like in your 40s or whatever, but but yeah, bro, like these trades, if you're young, get into these trades now sooner than later, and you're gonna find that it's rewarding. So when you get laid off, like you can just chill and go straight back to your parents' house, you know. 20 plus says, yeah, when I started at Walmart, it was 5 years and 500,000 miles with no tickets or accidents. See, that's like, dude, that's the thing to do. That's the way to be right there. 20 plus trucking. Look at that. See, 5 years and 500,000 miles with no tickets or accidents was the qualifications. What are the qualifications now? You know, like with the company I'm currently at doing line haul, all you need is a year of experience, but we're not even hiring anymore. Oh, you're 21? I must be thinking of someone else. There's somebody else named Chuck. Then that was because I know I'm not tripping. There was somebody named Chuck. But yeah, if you're 21, dude, and you're still living with your parents or whatever, with family, and you don't have like a whole lot of bills, um, get 5 years in the union under your belt, and things are gonna start getting better. You know, that's usually the rule of thumb is get 5 years of experience under your belt. Don't be fucking up out here. You know, just keep your nose clean and do everything right, and you should be good. You know, um, it is beautiful today, man. Everybody's out here fishing, having a good time. Southern California, yay! It's beautiful, man. So as you guys know, I've got these. You know, what do you say? Now it's 30 months, and I think you can have a ticket. It's sad how it's all turned out. Yeah. I mean, especially when guys understand that if you get in a line haul, you're gonna get a ticket. Like I know some good drivers out here, and I knew some good drivers in these some of these over the road companies I worked at. And bro, when you it doesn't take much to fry yourself, but it's pretty easy to screw yourself out of ever being able to obtain a good union career. Like it's really easy to screw yourself out of it. And even with how much they've dropped their standards, with how much they've lowered their entry level standards, you know, it's still pretty difficult. But understand, if you do get in a line haul and you're lucky enough to get in with less than a year of experience, you better stay clean, bro, because it's pretty easy to get a ticket out there, especially when you're running the 5 and the 99, and you're up there I've never received a ticket up in Northern California, but running right there around the Grapevine, and like I'd say between the Grapevine and like between the Grapevine and Fresno, like yeah, yeah, you'll get popped. And then between Fresno and Stockton, yeah, it's pretty hot, you know, especially on that 99. Like the cops are just freaking always there, bro. So you you got to be careful. You got to be careful. You got to. That's the thing that sucks about having a CDL is once you get popped enough, then you can't work, and that's your livelihood. So that's the other thing to remember. So that's why I always recommend people, when you get into trucking, is get into food service, because you're going to be doing local shit. You're going to get paid really good, especially at Cisco. And dude, you're never going to get a ticket. You got to be an idiot to lose your job over having too many tickets over there. Fernie Flores and says, yeah, I'm doing 62 miles per hour max on the 99. Same, like I was doing like 63, 64. I got a ticket like at 68 before. I fought the ticket and I won. I got popped for being in the wrong lane. I fought that and I won. But I do have another wrong lane that I got at JB Hunt that I never fought it. I just took it. So in my 6 years of driving, I've received, let's see, the wrong lane ticket and two speeding tickets. One of which I fought and won. And then I actually have two wrong lane tickets and two speeding tickets. But the ones that stuck was a speeding ticket and one wrong lane ticket from JB Hunt. And that's all I have. So dude, it's so easy to get popped out there, and like all these other really, really good companies, or really good companies, these really good drivers that I've gotten to know over the years, especially in LTL, like they have a shit ton of tickets, bro. Like a shit ton. By the time they have 10, 12, 15 years under their belt, they have got a shitload of tickets. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. I'm going to turn off my car. All right, let's see. All right, you guys, how's that? Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? I turned off my Bluetooth just now. Hopefully that helps. All right, cool. All right, we're back in business. So yeah, 20 plus. That's a really good record. That's a damn good record. That's not. You're going the speed limit all the time. You're doing everything right. So that's what that means. Dude, look what a beautiful day it is today. Yeah, look at that. Look at the water. What a beautiful freaking day. God is good, bros. This beats San Francisco. San Francisco is disgusting. San Francisco is dirty. Whoever lives in San Francisco is a loser. A 20 plus, who am I talking about, bro? I'll never say his name on here again. I made him look like a freaking jackass on his live stream, and that's how we're gonna leave it, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, San Francisco's nasty. You know, I feel bad for people who live over there. It's just nasty to me. You just got your first ticket for parking in a no parking zone. I wouldn't fight that. Fuck that. It's not worth it. Yeah, just let it go. Just don't let it happen again. Lesson learned, bro. Lesson learned. Lesson learned, big dog. Don't do that again. Parking tickets. Ah, man, it is a nice day. Well, you guys, yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. It is a beautiful day today. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day. I got my family just up ahead over here, so thank you all for joining me for this live stream. Take my advice with a grain of salt. You know, those of you who are listening that are youngsters right now, in the end, I recommend up and down what you should do, what you shouldn't do, where you should or shouldn't go. But in the end, you got to make the decision that's best for you and your family. If you've got no kids, no wife, or anything like that, nothing really holding you to a place, um, then you have the world in the palm of your hands, basically. Not that somebody with a family doesn't, but you just have more risk that you can take, right? You don't have to be as safe. So I recommend if you're in California, stay in California. Don't leave. I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, we got to leave. It's so expensive. Bro, if you get yourself a good job, especially if you got no wife or kids, you can save all your money, buy a home out here. And then later on, if things really do get worse in California, then go ahead and leave and take your equity from your home and go and be a king somewhere else. For retirement, for those without pensions, you can save your money over your time and go and move to Argentina or New Zealand or something like that, you know? Like, that's what I'd be doing if I didn't have a family. Who knows, my wife and I might just retire to somewhere like New Zealand or Argentina. Like, I've been doing my homework on stuff like that and take my pension with me, you know? So there's just a lot of different moves that you can make out here. And I know it's probably surprising to hear me say don't leave California just yet, but I mean, look, I've been calling it for the last 6 years now that California was going to get better. There was a time where I thought that California wasn't going to get better and I was about to leave before I went over the road with Mountain Truck Lines. And then when I saw that they got more relaxed, or what's the word? They got less. Anyways, they grew some balls and they started issuing concealed carry permits um, to California, to citizens here in California. So it's a lot easier to get a concealed carry permit now. So when I saw that, and then I saw, you know, a lot of these changes in our political structure, I was like, you know what, maybe everything's going to turn out all right. You know, Gavin Newsom's going to be out of here pretty soon. Whatever your opinions on him, you know, I think he's a scumbag. But I try to stay away from politics, but I try to bring you guys, like, especially like Sean Ryan, right? You guys have heard me talk about Sean Ryan here. Make sure you go check out his channel. And then my buddy, the American Sputnik, right? Go check him out in Russia. I'm gonna be meeting up with him over there soon, and we're gonna spend probably like close to a month. I'm probably gonna spend close to a month with him out there, and we're gonna be going everywhere. We're even gonna go into Siberia while it's super cold. So I'm gonna take a second trip out there for the Siberia thing, because the first time I go out, it's gonna be, you know, like to actually enjoy it, not be super cold the whole time. So all that stuff is coming up, you guys. Um, Thanks for being here. There's the Queen Mary. Wave goodbye to the Queen Mary. So, but yeah, make the moves that you want to make in life. Like I said, things I think in California are going to get a lot better. I don't know. What do you guys think? You know, but that's just what I think. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. You never know. But without kids or a family, you've definitely got more wiggle room, more risks that you can take. But make buying a house one of your goals. You know, if you're not trying to buy a house off the bat right away, save your damn money and just invest, dude. Especially with Nvidia, that's really good to be investing in right now, especially since they moved their business over here. So anyways, you guys, with that said, Mr. By the Mile, here on for discussions based on my knowledge. experience. Take care, you guys. See you on the next one.